And now we'll get into the topic of our class today, which is what is the Working Disabled Program? And today our host is Joan Chang, so I'll pass it off to her.
Thank you, everyone. Happy Thursday afternoon. Um, my name is Joan Chang. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a staff attorney here at Community Legal Aid SoCal. And we're going to be talking about Medi-Cal's 250% Working Disabled Program. It's a mouthful, but we're going to go through it and break it down together. All right. Again, if y'all have attended one of my previous trainings, I'm a fan of the laser pointer, and so I'll be using that, or maybe the red pen today. Let's see. Let's do pen. Okay. Can y'all see that red line underneath? Thank you, Gabby, for the thumbs up. Okay. All right. Let's talk about it. Let's dive in. I'm going to go through our services quickly, but here. Okay. And Gabby, just to let you know, is there any sort of like lag in my voice or anything? Or I'm coming in clear?
You're coming clear to me, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let me know in the chat if there's anything that's if there's some sort of delay. Okay. Maybe we'll do a quick review of our services. This is our mission statement here at Community Legal Aid SoCal. I like to brag about this. This is the mural at the back of our Santa Ana parking lot. A lot of our staff contributed to it, so I like to show it off. But this is our mission statement. We serve all of Orange County and a sliver of Southeast LA County. These are our practice areas or departments or units, as you want to call it. I'm specifically in the health unit, but we do have other services. We do have eligibility requirements. Our, focus population is low income and low asset individuals and families. But specifically for our health unit and our seniors unit, which is 60 plus, we don't have any income cap or asset cap. But for our other services, we do have caps. So at a bare minimum, if we're not able to assist, you'll get a referral to perhaps another agency who can. Okay, I'm gonna skip kind of some of this stuff. These are our kind of assistance areas, but we're specifically going to be talking about Medi-Cal and Medi-Cal eligibility today. I'm gonna skip through this because we have a lot to cover today. But this is my bragging page, but some of our wins and successes. But just to highlight some of these, but I'm gonna go through these. Y'all can take your time to read it at another time. Okay, because we're gonna dive into Medi-Cal's 250% working disabled program. Let's do it. Okay, what the heck is this program? It's a program that provides what we call full scope Medi-Cal. Full scope basically means no cost, no share of cost, no share of cost. We use a lot of acronyms in the world of Medi-Cal and the world of health, but let's break it down. This is a program that's designed for people who, again, have a disability. It's kind of in the name, right? The working and the disabled part. But those who have a disability but are still working, and they define work pretty loosely, and we're gonna talk about that in the next couple of slides. For those who perhaps have income who may be too high income folks for regular Medi-Cal, who might actually already been assigned a share of cost of Medi-Cal. And those who receive disability income. So some sort of disability-based income. Okay. But the beauty of this wonderful program is that there's no share of cost, no monthly premium. There used to be monthly premiums for the working disabled program. We got rid of the premiums a couple of years ago. So no monthly premiums. It's free 99. And it's full scope again, without a share of cost. And some of these terms are terms that Medi-Cal uses, so I'm using it today. And it allows for higher income folks to potentially get free Medi-Cal, full scope Medi-Cal without a share of cost. Okay, all these benefits, but let's talk about the requirements and how to get in. Okay, disability. So it's in the name, right? Working disabled program. Disability, and this is a legal term of art, you have to meet the Social Security Administration's federal legal definition of disability, like a DMV, blue placard on your car. That is not going to suffice. The Social Security definition of disability is quite high of a legal standard, but just keep that in mind. I'm just going to put this language in here, but technically the disability does not have to prevent what they call substantial gainful activity. This is a term or a phrase that Social Security uses for certain types of work and earnings. Okay, you got to be working. And I'm going to put this word in quotes because it's defined pretty loosely. You have to do some type of work for pay, but there's no minimum hour requirement. There's no minimum dollar amount that you have to earn. It could be self-employment, but at a bare minimum, you're going to have to show some sort of physical paper proof of your earnings. There is an income limit. We're going to talk about an income limit and also the SSI test. An income limit is below 200, it's called the 250% working disabled program for a reason, because the income limit is the 250%, what we call federal poverty level, which gets updated and goes up a little bit, a couple of dollars each year on January 1. But currently in 2026, for a single person, it's $3,325 per month. The beauty of this program, and I'm going to star this, or maybe I'm talking about the beauty, so maybe I put a little heart. Disability money don't count. Disability income does not count for this program. So any sort of disability money that you have, it's as if it's not there, that it's not in your pockets, it's not in your bank account. It is considered legally exempt and it's just not counted. Work income for the 250% cap will count. So any earned income that you have, and any non-disability income might count. So if you have like a pension or a retirement, like a 401k or an IRA distribution, that money still will count. Okay. They do apply SSI rules. So even though you're not getting SSI, folks typically who want working disabled program are not eligible for SSI, but you have to actually still meet the SSI income limits. So keep that in mind. So even though this is kind of step one, this is considered step two, which is kind of a higher threshold to meet. But you have to be able to have, for a single person, no more than $1,231 per month. But we're not counting your disability money. We're not counting your work money. It's only counting unearned income. So that can include, like I said, pensions, retirement, like an IRA or 401k distribution, those sort of incomes. And we're going to talk about what that looks like too. You don't have to be receiving SSI. It's just that your income has to be, within the SSI limits. And then the asset limit currently for Medi-Cal is 130K. In July 1 of next year, unfortunately, the asset limit is going to go down to 21K for a single person. So y'all are going to hear about this in the next 12 months if you haven't already heard about it. But with the federal or with the state budget cuts, this is going to go down from 130K to 21K. But again, the beauty and the benefit of the working disabled program is that any IRAs or retirement plans that you have and the balance that you have in those accounts are considered exempt. So that's something that kind of gets taken off the table. Also, what's off the table is any work earnings in a separate account are also considered exempt. Okay, I'm circling this because number 4, beware. This is where the SSI test will make or break whether or not you're eligible for this program. This is easier to meet. This one's a hard one for folks to meet. And we're going to look at examples of how the income calculations kind of play out. Okay, but we got 5 requirements here. So let's do a little mini quiz. Again, it's not meant to scare you or freak anyone out, but if you get it right, wonderful, great. You get little virtual gold stars from me to you. If you get it wrong, that's okay because we're all learning together. But it's just kind of a way to hopefully let some of this sink in a little bit in our brains. Okay, so this is an example. This is me. I am not disabled. Can I be eligible for the working disabled program? The answer is either yes or no. What y'all think? If you guys want to come off mute or put your answers in the chat, however you want to respond. I am not disabled. Can I be eligible for the working disabled program? Yes or no? We got some yeses. We got one yes. We got a couple of no's. And I saw Gabby shaking her head no. No, you must be found disabled under Social Security's legal definition. So if you don't have that disability finding, unfortunately, you're not going to be eligible for this program. I am disabled, but I cannot perform any type of work for pay. Can I be eligible for the Working Disabled program? I am disabled, so we got that, but I'm not able to do any sort of work. So no work. I'm seeing a stream of no's here. No, you must be able to do some type of work. Love it, love it. Exactly. Think of it as it's in the name here. It's working disabled, right? You must be able to do some type of work for pay to be eligible for working disabled. All right, you guys are doing great. Okay, so let's look at work types. Again, I'm putting work in quotes because it's defined pretty loosely here. Here are just examples. It's not limited to these boxes, but these are just some examples, some real life examples of some of my past clients too. The definition of work is defined pretty loosely. Again, no minimum hours, no minimum earnings. It could be as small as, I've even had clients who submitted a dollar, like a dollar can recycling receipt. So, but even $5, $1, a couple of cents can qualify as long as you actually are getting paid for the work that you do. It could be a formal employer, it could be a neighbor or a friend, it could be self-employment. So let's look at some examples. The county sometimes calls this the can recycling program simply because that is an often the most kind of common type of work that folks do under this working disabled program. But recycling cans, bottles, and then getting a recycling receipt to submit to the county as quote proof of your earnings. So recycling is kind of the most common, but again, it's not limited to any of these, but these are just examples. Pet care. So I've had clients who would like dog sit or walk their neighbor's dog, and their neighbor would pay them, a couple of bucks per month. You could do childcare. I do have some clients who, get paid to caregive their nieces or their nephews, and their family pays them like $100 or two. So again, no minimum amount, but you have to be able to show that you actually are doing this work and that you're getting paid for it. Cleaning is another example, self-employment, so any sort of gig work, any freelance work. For example, I used to have a client who really loved um, guitars. And so his friends would pay him a couple of bucks to fix and tune up their electric guitars. I had another client who loved making jewelry, and she would make those, sell those on the side, like at church bazaars and festivals. And, so, any sort of self-employment would be acceptable as work for this program. Tutoring, odd jobs, errands, deliveries, and I think there's something called like Task Rabbit where you get paid per task that you do that folks in your neighborhood can hire you for. Any sort of part-time work. I've had some of my clients who were baggers at grocery stores. Again, these are just examples. This is not an exhaustive list, so keep that in mind. Okay, so let's look at taking that knowledge that we had from that slide. All right, I get paid $500 a month for driving Uber on the weekends. Is this type of work eligible for working disabled? The answer is yes or no. I see some yeses. I see some thumbs up. Love it, love it. All right, everyone, gold star for you guys. Boom, boom, boom. Yes. you're getting paid, and you'd be able to show proof of your Uber earnings. I don't know how Uber does it. I've never driven for Uber, but there's some sort of, paper proof that you can submit to the county of your earnings. Okay, I get paid $5 a month for recycling cans. Is this type of work eligible for the Working Disabled program? It's $5. It's not a lot, but I'm doing some work. Is this considered eligible work for working disabled? Yes or no? All right, I'm seeing some yeses. Okay, okay. Gold star for you. Yes, there's no minimum amount. I think the lowest I've seen was like $1. One of my clients had like $1.25 receipt that they had from some can recycling that they did. Okay. I volunteer at my church. Is this type of work eligible for working disabled program? Yes or no? Let's see. I see two no's. Oh, three no's, four no's. Okay. No, technically volunteer work is not considered work, especially if you're not receiving any sort of pay for it. If you want to call it volunteering, but your church actually ends up paying you, that would be considered work for working disabled. Yeah, all right. Good job, everybody. Gold stars all around. Okay, we're going to talk about what's countable disability income and not countable non-disability income. So let's break it down. Okay. Again, the main benefit of working disabled is that the disability money that you got, it's not counted. That's awesome, amazing, wonderful. Okay, so on the left-hand side is going to be all the type of disability income that's not counted. So we're looking at, hold on. Okay, so Social Security disability insurance, what we call SSDI, it's in the name, it's disability-based income, so that's not going to count. California State Disability Insurance, so SDI. I know we use a lot of acronyms here. SDI income will not count because it's disability based. Private disability insurance benefits. Who is that? I think it's like the duck, like Aflac. I think Aflac is like a type of disability insurance company. Like if your employer provides you private disability insurance policies to you as an employee, those disability-based benefits will not count. Workers' comp, because it's kind of inherent in the based on your medical disability that you've obtained during your employment, workers' comp money is not counted. Disabled widows benefits. So it's kind of in the name. This is a Social Security Administration program. But it's in the name. It's for those who are disabled, widow or widowers. That income would not be counted for this program. Disabled adult child. These are for those who perhaps didn't have enough Social Security work credits for themselves so they can get benefits under their parent. They are a disabled adult child. They get money from Social Security. That income that you get from Social Security is not considered countable income for the Working Disabled program. And then I'm putting this here. So from here to here. So if before you turned 65, you were getting Social Security disability insurance. And then when you turned your full retirement age, they started calling it the retirement money. Once it's been converted to retirement, it still remains exempt or not counted. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so let's talk about the stuff that is going to be counted, okay? Pension income. So if you get a pension from your former employer, that money is going to be counted. Social Security retirement, again, not converted, so not this situation, but if it's just retirement and you never, got a disability finding, that's going to count. Any IRA money that you get, your 401k money that you get, that's going to count. Any rental income from like a property that you own, that's going to count. Any interest and dividends that you get from stocks, bonds, money market accounts, CDs, all that jazz, that money and income will count. Alimony, aka spousal support, that will count. Oh, okay. Okay. All right, so let's move on. I'm gonna let y'all take a quick glance at this stuff, but let's look at it. Anything that's gonna be disability based, not gonna count. Anything that's not disability based is gonna count. So let's talk about it. Okay, I get 2,000 bucks in pension income. Does my pension income count for working disabled program? Yes or no? I see a thumbs up. I see some yeses coming in. Yes, it will count. Pension income is not considered disability-based income, so it will count. Okay, what about this? I get 2 grand, not in pension, but in Social Security Disability Insurance, or what we call SSDI. Does my 2,000 bucks a month in SSDI count for working disabled? Yes or no? I see no's. I see one no. Oh, let me see. I see another no. Another no. Okay. No, it does not count. SSDI, again, in the name, is disability-based income. It's not going to count. So keep that in mind. Under regular Medi-Cal rules, this would count. This two grand would count. But because we're applying for this special program called the Working Disabled Program, it's as if this 2 grand that you get, you're not getting. So that's the beauty of this program. Okay. All right, let's add a little more flavor to this example. I have been receiving 2 grand a month in SSDI disability-based insurance since I was 45 years old. I recently turned 65, my retirement age. Now, so my Social Security money is called retirement. Okay, so it converted from oops, I should move it over here. It converted from SSDI now to what we call Social Security retirement. Does my 2 grand count for working disabled? Yes, counts. No, doesn't count. Marina's quick to the draw. I love you're answering quite quickly. Love it, love it. Okay. The answer is no, it's not going to count. Any sort of SSDI income that's converted into retirement once you turn your full retirement age, it still remains exempt or not counted. Okay, good job, guys. We got lots of hearts and star stickers going around. Okay, there's income. I may be losing you in the next couple of slides because there's going to be some math involved. I'm an attorney. I still count with my fingers, but we have to do a lot of math for this. But stay with me because I'm going to show you some examples on how this works. There are some income calculation steps. The following are the steps for a single unmarried individual. It does get a little complicated for married individuals and those in registered domestic partnerships. So I'm just going to say that the next couple slides apply to single unmarried folks. Okay. Eligibility requirements. Again, we went through these 5 boxes. Okay, the income steps, we have 2. We have step 1, and then we have step 2. Step 1 comes from here. We're looking at the 250% FPL, okay? So you have to be under the 250% FPL, which currently is 3,325 bucks per month. Okay, for step 1, disability income does not count, so that's great. We're not counting the disability income. Your earnings, your recycling money, your Uber money, whatever sort of work you're doing, those earnings are going to count. Any non-disability based income is going to count, like those pensions, those 401k money. So those are going to count. For step 2, which is the SSI test, the limit is 1,234, $1,234 per month. Disability money doesn't count. In the second step, earnings don't count. So we're not looking at your recycling money. We're not looking at your Uber money or your, grocery bagging money. We're only going to be looking at your non-disability income, like the pension, like the 401k, like if you have rental income. Okay, so this is the same info, step 1 and step 2. This is the same information, I just put it in a chart format. Sometimes I'm like a text person, other times I'm like more of a chart person. So I'm trying to accommodate for different types of learners here. But again, for step one, this is exempt income. Disability income will always be exempt under the working disabled program, right? What's going to be countable for step one is non-disability income, which is always going to count. And the earnings are going to count, but for the SSI test, the earnings don't count. Okay, I know it's a little confusing, but we're going to kind of go through it with some questions. Again, this is my little note here. For married working disabled program applicants, there's an additional step that you have to go through. It's called spousal deeming. It gets a little complicated, so if you need assistance with calculating that, feel free to give us a call and we could do an individualized calculation for you. Yes, investment income would count. That's, it's not disability based or investment income is not, considered earned income. And so it would count towards the SSI test. Okay, so let's look at an example. Okay, all right. All right, so we're looking at, again, keep in mind, this step two, is going to be a harder step to meet because, this is such a lower amount versus step one, which is a higher amount. So just keep that in mind. This will make or break you, okay? This SSI test will make or break you. But let's look at an example. We're looking at Carol, okay? Carol, she's 62, she's single, she's working as a part-time bookkeeper. She makes $900 a month. Okay. Oh, hold on. Let me see. Is the $900 going to count her earnings? So let's break it down. For step one, it's going to count. All right. Towards the 250 step one, it's going to count. For step two, for the SSI, it does not count. Okay. Her Social Security disability insurance money. She's getting $2,700 per month. Is this money going to count in either step one or step two? What do y'all think? Social Security disability, giving y'all a little hint. It's disability-based income. Is it going to count for step one or for step two? I see some no's in the chat. Okay. Is it going to count? It's exempt. It's not going to count for either steps. Okay. So the $2,700 for Carol under this working disabled program, it's as if she doesn't have it. It's not counted. All right. So let's look at the income calculations. The $900 is going to count for step one, right? So I'm going to just show you the math. You're not expected to know all this, but the beauty of what we call these non-Magi Medi-Cal programs is they don't take just your earnings. They take your earnings, they give you a $65 earned income deduction, and then you get to divide this by two. So they take the 900 that Carol's earning minus 65, and then you divide it by two. And so this is her countable earned income. So we're not going to look exactly at the full 900. No, no, no. We get a little discount on what Medi-Cal is going to be looking at. They're only going to be counting $417.50 of Carol's bookkeeping earned income. Okay. She doesn't have any other earned income, right? The Social Security disability money is not counting. She doesn't have a pension or anything like that. You also do get like a $20 off the bottom or top of your income. So this is the total amount that's countable for under the eyes of Medi-Cal. Carol only has $397.50. So for step one, $397.50 is definitely less than the 250 limit, which is 3,326. So we're good to go. Yay. She passes step one. Step two. Step two, remember, we're not counting her earnings. So it's as if her income was zero for step two. So zero is definitely less than $1,234 per month, which is the SSI limit currently. So she passes step two. She's eligible. Carol would be eligible for free full scope Medi-Cal without a share of cost. Yay, Carol. All right, but let's look at Brian. Brian is a little bit of a different situation. Brian is 64. He's single. He's doing some mowing of the lawn for his neighbor, 50 bucks a week. Is the 50 bucks a week going to count? For step one, it's going to count. Okay. But for step two, nope, we're not counting it. What about his Social Security disability insurance? The 2,700 he gets per month. Is that going to count for the working disabled program? Yes, counts. No, doesn't count. I will take it to the chats. Okay, I'm getting a stream of no's here. It's not going to count. It's exempt for both steps. Oh, whoops. All right. But Brian, the difference between Brian and Carol is that Brian actually has a pension. He had a pretty good employer back in the day, and he gets an additional 1,400 bucks per month in pension money. Let me see where this is. Okay, pension. Is the pension money going to count for step one or for step two? We got kind of a mixed bag. We got some no's, we got some yeses, we got another yes, yes for step two. The pension income will count for both steps because pension is not earned income and pension is not disability-based income. So it's going to count for both steps. So let's look at how this plays out. Okay, so we're actually just going to look at step two because step two is a harder step to meet. So we're going to just look at step two. This is the SSI test, okay? All right, so for the, hold on, let me see where my cursor is. Okay, for the disability income and his earnings, for the SSI test, we're not looking at it. We're not counting it, okay? His lawnmower money and his SSDI money were not counted. But let's look at his pension. Pension, unfortunately, is counted. He got 1,400 in pension. You get $20, just any income deduction. This is kind of one of the benefits of the Medi-Cal calculations. And then, so now he's stuck with $1,380, which is countable in the eyes of Medi-Cal. The SSI limit in 2026 is 1, 2, 3, 4. Brian's countable income exceeds the SSI limit. He is technically over by $146. He's over by $146. So step one, unfortunately, his 1380 is greater than the 1, 2, 3, 4. So he fails step two. He's not going to be eligible for working disabled program. Brian's pension was the deal breaker. So I kind of circled this. The SSI test is a harder test to pass. And this pension money unfortunately made him over. So just keep that in mind. The SSI test will make or break some of our clients here. Okay. Again, these are the requirements. These are the income calculations. This is the make or break ya. How to apply. Oh, let me go back. Katie, you have a question? Go ahead.
I do, thank you. So when you say it makes or breaks, that means that you're no longer eligible for this program and that you would have to then pay towards your Medi-Cal coverage. Is that correct?
Most likely, yes. There are other Medi-Cal programs that you might be eligible for, but for working disabled, yeah, if the county finds, hey, you're not eligible for any other program, most likely they're going to stick a share of cost on you. Yeah, they're going to assign a share of cost. So you're losing the free Medi-Cal, and most likely the county will say you have a share of cost Medi-Cal instead.
Thank you very much.
Of course. Thanks, Katie. That's a great question. Thank you for asking it. Okay, so hopefully it's kind of like an exclusive club sometimes, this working disabled program. It takes a lot to get there, but once you get there, it's a beautiful place to be because again, it's full scope, no share of costs, no monthly premiums. You get lots out of it. But let's talk about how to apply if you are eligible and you're eligible for this amazing club. Okay, you apply through the county. So the county Medi-Cal office here in Orange County, it's called Orange County Social Services, or what we call OCSSA. You'll see their logo with the little orange. Okay, you apply through the county. You can contact the county welfare office or social services office, whichever county you're in. You can apply in person, by phone, or by mail. There technically isn't a separate working disabled program application, but you're just going to want to ask it by name. What I tell my clients is if you talk to a Medi-Cal caseworker who sounds like they don't know what the heck you're talking about when you name drop 250% working disabled program by name, you're going to want to Karen your way up and say, hey, can I speak to a supervisor who's familiar with this program? Um, to be honest with you, this is a more popular program that the county eligibility workers will know about. Spousal impoverishment, some other things that they may not know, but this is a little bit more of a popular one. But if you do encounter like a newbie county employee who's not familiar with the 250% working disabled program, don't leave, don't hang up the phone. Just say, can I speak with someone who is familiar with that program? That's what kind of my practical advice would be to you. Step two is that you have to prove your disability. So if Social Security has already said, sent you a letter that said, hey, we've deemed you disabled as of this onset date. If you could find that award letter, great. Or if you have any sort of paperwork that says you're receiving Social Security disability insurance, that should suffice also. There is a way for you, if you don't already have a formal disability finding from Social Security already, you can ask the Medi-Cal office to help you with what they call a disability determination. So it's a separate process. I could just spend a whole presentation just on that process alone, but the Medi-Cal office can help you with the disabilities finding. Okay. Marco said request an ADB non-Magi worker, not eligible, not all eligibility technicians are trained to deal with non-Magi cases. Yes, Marco, that is great practical advice. There's kind of two main Medi-Cal programs. There's something called Magi Medi-Cal programs and non-Magi. Working disabled falls under the non-Magi. We're getting into some of the nitty-gritty, nerdy medical terms, but I'm very impressed, Marco, that you're familiar. Yes, not a lot of eligibility technicians, case workers will be familiar with non-Magi rules. So you may want to name drop that as well. Okay, you got to prove that you're working. So proof of that work may very well include, your pay stub. I don't know how Uber pays, or how but maybe proof of your Uber income that you receive, any work invoices. Like I said, I had the client who fixed guitars. He would write little invoices to his friends for the $50 he charged for fixing his friends' electric guitars. Receipts, like for example, if you are recycling, if you go to a recycling center, they will give you a printed receipt. So oftentimes that's, sufficient for the county to accept as proof of work. Yes, go ahead, Chelsea.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go
Oh,
ahead.
perfect. I was going to ask as far as number two, if it's someone
Mhm.
who had disability before they were 65 and then now they're over 65 and it kind of doesn't say SSDI anymore and it just looks like normal, like a normal award letter.
Yeah.
If that's all the proof they have is their award letter, how will services be sure that they did have a disability before?
Yeah, so sometimes I kind of get kind of a mixed bag. So sometimes if my client doesn't have like an old award letter that they've kept, that might be, several years old. Um, the Medi-Cal office, the county offices do have access to certain federal databases that may be able to show in their computer systems that, that person had a disability finding from Social Security before. But sometimes that's not reliable, so you might have to actually go to Social Security, ask for some sort of paper proof, and maybe they'll be able to print it for you. But oftentimes the computer system may very well show that status. But like I said, worst case scenario, last resort, you could go to Social Security and ask for some sort of printout of that proof of disability.
Thank you.
Yes.
Joanne,
Yes, go ahead. I heard a
um,
voice.
Is it possible we can have a copy of your PowerPoint slides for reference later?
Oh, yes. I know Gabby, you record this, but yes, I will send that over. I didn't send it this time because I know y'all record, but yes, I can. And a lot of the hyperlinks on the bottom, they're hyperlinks that you guys can use too. I will email Gabby the slides. Yes,
Thank you so
of
very
course.
much.
Of course. Okay. Okay, the last thing you need is gathering your income and asset documents. So if you've already applied for Medi-Cal and went through all of that stuff and you got assigned a share of costs, you only have to do step 1, 2, and 3. But if you're just applying for Medi-Cal for the first time, you're gonna have to make sure that you meet the asset the limits and all of that jazz. So just keep that in mind. Okay. Benefits, let's talk about it again. I think this is kind of the thing we've been talking about from the beginning. It's full scope. If you do get the working disabled program, enrolled into that working disabled program, you get full scope Medi-Cal. It includes coverage for doctor visits, hospital care, drug coverage, vision, Denti-Cal, mental health. Again, no share of cost. No share of costs. This also, a lot of our clients are calling about working disabled program because they also want IHSS access. So once you do have, full scope Medi-Cal, you technically have, I don't think it's called this, but full scope IHSS. So you can have access to IHSS if you meet the eligibility requirements for IHSS, you can have IHSS without a share of cost. IHSS is in-home supportive services. It's a state program that provides a certain number of hours per month for a caregiver to come into your home to provide you non-medical caregiving services, like things like helping you with cooking, cleaning, bathing, dressing yourself, feeding yourself, any toileting assistance that you may need, any sort of activities of daily living help. It's not nursing care, it's not medical care, it's just regular non-medical caregiving. Okay, but this opens the door to getting IHSS for free without a share of cost. It also is, again, zero premium. Back in 2022, we got rid of the premium system. We used to have like a premium scale system for working disabled. We no longer have that, so no premiums. Again, the working disabled program, it's in the name, 250%. It allows you to have higher income amounts than regular non-Magi Medi-Cal programs might. And then Medicare savings. So once you're eligible for full scope Medi-Cal, Medi-Cal will pay for your Medicare Part B premiums. So if y'all don't already have Medi-Cal, I'm sure you are aware that $202.90 per month gets deducted from your Social Security check. And so once you get full scope Medi-Cal, Medi-Cal will start paying for this amount on your behalf, and you'll see $200 more in your Social Security check each month. It also includes the Medicare deductibles and any other Medicare cost sharing. So no Medicare co-pays or Medicare co-insurance. Okay. All right. So a quiz. I have been approved for the 250% working disabled program. Do I have a share of cost? So with the 250% working disabled program, is it a free Medi-Cal program, a full scope Medi-Cal program, or a share of cost program? Do I have a share of costs? Yes or no? I see some no's, I see some yes. Okay. No, working disabled program is a full scope Medi-Cal program. It's a zero share of costs. So that's, again, the main benefit. Okay. All right. I've been approved for the 250% working disabled program. I've been approved for IHSS. Do I have to pay a share of cost to my IHSS caregiver? Okay, so I've been approved for working disabled. I've been approved for in-home supportive services. Do I have a share of cost for my IHSS? IHSS share of cost? Yes or no? I see some no's. All right, gold stars for y'all. No, the no share of cost also applies to IHSS. So yay, double yay. Oh, okay. We've reached the end. This is how to reach us. This is our 714 hotline number. It's an automated menu. If you press 1, you'll get connected to the health unit. You'll reach Vanessa, our lovely intake paralegal. And during off hours, we do have an online intake. But yes, we're a nonprofit law office, so we don't charge for our services. And yes, okay. Any comments, questions, concerns? I know I threw a lot of info at y'all, but y'all did great. You guys get A pluses, gold stars. Um, if we were in kindergarten, I would allow you guys to have extra recess time. All right, yes, go ahead, Chelsea.
I was wondering and thank you so much. It was a wonderful presentation and you explained things really well.
Cool.
I was wondering for the examples you gave, the two were single. Do you happen to have an example for someone who is married?
The married one, there's something called spousal DME, and you need to figure out, you take into account the non-applicant spouse's income, and then it's a complicated thing, and I don't want to make things more complicated because I thought this was already complicated. If you do have questions about that, feel free to give us a call. Here, I'll put back our hotline number. Um,
Thank you.
I
So we
think
could just call basically with our client and then kind of share their information and then kind of assess based on the information of them and their spouse if they would even qualify and if you guys can kind of help determine if they would. And then from there we can kind of help support with contacting, social services and if they would qualify. Is that right?
Yes, yes. So Chelsea, if you're at like an enrollment, or if you're like part of a community-based organization who help folks enroll into Medi-Cal, we do have to have the client on the line. We can't necessarily speak with you directly because of confidentiality
Sure.
purposes. But if you do have the individual on the line and they're okay with you also on the line, yes, we can do a formal intake, make sure we get all the numbers and all the income amounts for both the applicant and the spouse so that we can give personalized legal advice. Yeah, but yes, feel free to give us a
Wonderful.
call.
Thank you so much.
Okay, cool. All right, I see. Oh, sorry. Cindy says, how long is the application process? Honestly, I mean, hopefully it gets to the right folks. It shouldn't take too long. I've seen it happen within like 2 or 3 weeks. Usually 1 or 2, but like maybe just in case 2 to 3. But if you keep getting, if you keep getting contacted by a caseworker who's not familiar with this program, then you might have more delays. But again, you want to name drop and not make sure you speak with someone who is familiar with the Working Disabled program. Okay, Marco, just to circle back in the deal breaker example, if the countable SSI income after deductions is over the 123 limit, the client's not eligible. You have to meet both step one and step two. So that's why I call step two the deal breaker, because there are a lot of times when folks meet step two, but then they meet step one, which is the easier test, but step two is the harder test to, yes. But there might be other programs, so if you do have clients who may be over the 250% working disabled program, I mean, I've done presentations about spousal impoverishment for those who are married um, or in a registered domestic partnership. Expanded spousal impoverishment may allow folks with higher incomes and higher assets to still be eligible for full scope free Medi-Cal without a share of cost. That's another presentation for another day. Okay.
Thank you so very much, Joanne. It was so great class topics.
Oh,
Have a
wonderful.
great
Thank
the
you.
rest of your day. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. Oh, Reina, yes. Here, Reina, if you want to go ahead and I'm gonna put my email. Oopsie. Oh, okay. I'm gonna put my email, JJ@CL SoCal. Again, keep in mind that we do serve Orange County and Southeast LA County here. But Reina, if you want
How
to go
about
ahead
San
and
Mateo
email me.
County? Does this apply to San Mateo County?
So all these rules apply to all the counties in California.
Mhm.
But Community Legal Aid SoCal serves Orange County residents. If you do give us a call, you know what? Let me put it in the chat too. Let me stop sharing. Okay, hold on. I'll also put, I always forget that some of y'all are in other counties. Stop share. I'll put in the chat the Health Consumer Alliance. We're part of this Health Consumer Alliance. How do I do this? Okay. And it's a collaborative of other legal aids that serve other counties. And so there's like a Community Legal Aid SoCal in the county that you reside in. And so you can call the number and it gives you a little automated menu to call, and you enter into your zip and then you get auto connected to the legal aid that serves your county. But let me put that in the chat. Oh, thank you, Chelsea. That's so nice. Okay, let me put this in the chat. Here's the website. But here is the telephone number. Oops. Okay. Oop. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay. But Gabby, you know what I'll do? I'll send you the slides and then I'll include all of this information too. And you could just send it out in one shot.
For sure.
Okay, cool. All right. Any other comments, questions, concerns? I know we've got 3 minutes left.
Thank you. Great information.
Oh, thank you. Thank you guys. You guys are great. Like I said, if I could, you know, I have a son who just finished kindergarten and he gets stickers and like I think they have another system where if like the class is doing good, they get like a marble in the marble jar. And then at the end of it, you get like a pizza party. So everyone, you guys get your marbles, your gold stickers. Y'all did really great. Pat on the back.
Thank you, John.
Well, I'll stay just in case in the next 2 minutes if any of y'all come up with any other questions. But Gabby, give me a minute and I'll go ahead and email you the slides too to email out.
Joan, I do have a couple questions if you don't mind.
Oh yeah, please go ahead, Kitty.
So first, for the savings, I know we talked about IRAs and retirement savings, 401ks, but does CalAble accounts affect that? Do you know about CalAble accounts?
So for the asset purposes, CalAble CalAble will not count towards the asset limit. Again, the current Medi-Cal asset limit is 130K for a single person. Unfortunately, a year from now, July 1 of next year, the asset test is going to go down to 21K. So
Okay.
CalAble, the money that you have sitting in a CalAble account won't go towards that 21K. It's not counted.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then as far as what you can earn, is there any way to determine what you can earn before you start working that will then affect all of these numbers?
Yeah, so it's again, you have to make sure it's under 250% FPL, but you also, I would say just call us because we could do the math for you.
Okay. That makes
Because you
sense.
do
Okay.
the minus 65 divided by 2. They're not just going to count like the $500 you earn, they're going to give you lots of discounts. So there's more leeway and give. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so
Cool.
much. I appreciate your time.
Oh, of course, Katie. Great questions. Love it.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Take care of yourselves so that you can take care of others. Self-care is a real thing. So make sure to take that time for yourself. All right. Thanks, Gabby.
All right,
Thank you, everyone.
and thank you, and bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Have a beautiful, blessed day.
You too. Bye-bye.